Good evening and welcome back to another Sports Card Talk Show. I'm your host Tim, and today I wanted to go over the PSA submissions that came back through Starstock. They finally came back. I submitted these back in January. Notice a couple of other people have posted their submissions as well. So first off, I want to talk about the big picture. It appears that 51% of the orders came back as PSA 10s. I actually think that is a good sign for things to come for other cards that were graded through Starstock, because I did submit quite a bit more in February and March. So I think that's a good sign. I mean, 51%. The previous order was about 43% that came back as PSA 10s. Pretty much the rest come back PSA 9s, but there are some outlier situations, and I will get into that as well. But I wanted to go over what I got, some of the bad decisions that I made in terms of the cards that I picked. So the grades were good, the cards were bad. So we'll get into that as well. So let's just go ahead and take a look. And the first thing I did is I did keep it on a spreadsheet. I tracked each card that I purchased, the cost of the card, and actually what I thought the card would be worth at the time. And surprisingly, the prices weren't too different from what they are today. And I think a big reason for that is because they just weren't very good cards to begin with. So I didn't know what I was doing, at least to the degree that I know now. I think I picked good players, but I didn't really pick good cards. Prices of the cards were high back then. So that's kind of what happened. So let's go ahead and get into it. I submitted a Brandon Ingram Panini Select Concourse, so just this base Concourse card, paid astronomically, which I know a lot of people have noticed that when they go back in time and look at what they paid for the raw cards, they realize that they just paid through the roof. And I did the same as well. I paid $80 for this card, paid $30 to get it graded, so my total cost for this Ingram was $110, and it actually came back a PSA 10. So that's the good news. The bad news is it's only worth $99 today as a PSA 10. Now, that when I look back, though, back in February, because when I submitted these cards back in January, I thought they were going to come back in February. And Neo, Northeast Ohio, he points this out as well. He kind of feels like it was a little bit of a bait and switch. The first order through Starstock came back in 30 days. And so I think we all thought, well, if we get this order in January, we're going to get it back in February. And that's what I thought as well. But when I look at the February prices for the Ingram, his PSA 10 was only $160. His PSA 9 was $79. So even had I got a PSA 10 back in February, I really would not have made very much money anyway. So again, I think it's just picked a bad card as far as, I think it's a good card. I think I just paid way too much. So $80 for a raw Concourse, which is the most common in the Select brand, that was just too much. And then it's Brandon Ingram to top it off. So it's not even one of the premier basketball players. Let's get into the next one, Lonzo Ball. A lot of people were high on Lonzo Ball at the beginning of the season. And so I paid quite a bit for this one as well. I paid $56.99. I paid $30 to get it graded. So my total cost was $86.99. And today I actually got a PSA 9 on this one. So really lost on that. Had I got a 10, I still would not have made very much money. I think actually a 1090 might be generous today. You might be able to get it for cheaper than that if you go on My Slabs or Facebook group or whatever. But I use Market Movers as my market price to track cards. So these are all Market Movers prices as of today, which is Monday, September 27th. And then I went back in time just to see what the Lonzo Ball was selling for, and it actually sold for $101 as a PSA 10, $23 as a PSA 9, pretty much the same as today. So there really hasn't been any movement on this Lonzo Ball at all. Again, not sure why. Actually, I do know why. At the time, at the beginning of January, this Lonzo Ball was, I believe, well over $100. So it may have been like $150, $170 card. It was definitely too high. I think there was a lot of high expectations for him, and I decided to grade one for that reason. I got this Domantas Sabonis Optic, and again, paid just unbelievable. I probably paid one of the highest prices on Starstock. I paid $63, paid $30 to get it graded, so my total cost into it was $93. And at the time, the card did get up to $300 as a PSA 10. Just unbelievable to think about. And today it looks like the latest price on Market Movers was actually less than $45 for a PSA 10. Not sure you can find it at that price. That seems a little bit too cheap. A PSA 9 on Market Movers is 36. So I would guess that you probably would have to pay somewhere over $50 if you really want to get a 10 in this card, but it's not a very desirable card right now, so I'm sure you could find a deal if you really were trying to look for one. And unfortunately, I paid $93. I got the PSA 10, so I got what I wanted, but I still lost money. And again, I did well on the grade, didn't pick the right card. That's just how it goes. I picked this Fernando, also bought this Fernando Tatis, paid $70 for it raw, paid $30 to get it graded. So my total cost into it was $100, and I got a PSA 10. And today's PSA 10 price, I actually sold it already for $125. So I sold it on the Starstock platform. Just decided to take my profit. There are 15,000 PSA 10 Fernando Tatis Topps Series 2 rookie cards. So again, not a card that I would buy today just because of the high pop count, and just decided to take my profit. I actually hit on that one, so I said I'm gonna just go ahead and sell. And back in February, that same PSA 10 was going for about $250. So it lost about half its value, and it kind of makes sense. The Padres aren't going to make the playoffs. Tatis did have a good year, but he did have a couple of injuries along the way, and that card is just seriously high pop count when you compare it to other cards on the market right now. So luckily this order wasn't too big. So, even though these were mostly not the greatest returns, at least I didn't send in too many cards when I really didn't know what I was doing. I sent in this Walker Bueller. Again, I think I was just picking cards just to experiment and see how they would come back. Had I got this back a month ago, it actually would have been a nice return, because I paid $5 for the card, $30 to get a grade, and I got the PSA 10. And I actually sold a PSA 10 on eBay for $106. Not this one, but a different PSA 10. And now it looks like it's back down to $50, which is unreal considering that he was one of the favorites to win the Cy Young this year, and still having a really great year, and the Dodgers are headed into the postseason. I'm not sure how it went from 100 to 50 in a matter of a couple of weeks, but that's just how the market goes. And if you look back in February, same price, about $50 for the PSA 10, $25 for the PSA 9. So absolutely no movement. Had I got it back in February, I'd be in the exact same boat that I was today. I would just have my card sooner and probably have my money sooner. So I guess that's the big difference. I sent in another Ingram. Again, I just can't believe that I sent in these base Donruss cards. I got an Ingram, a Jaylen Brown, and a Trae Young, all base Donruss. And the Ingram came back a 10, which is great, but only worth $50. I had 58 into it, so even that's a loss as a PSA 10. And if I look back in February, it was only $80 as a PSA 10. So I'm not sure. I clearly wasn't doing the math or really trying to figure out where I can get my biggest returns. And I'm going to get into a few cards that I plan to grade through Starstock, hoping that they open up in January. And they are grading cards at a rapid pace right now. And I have a good feeling that we're going to see them open up some lower service levels sooner rather than later, just based on the pure numbers that they're coming out with, hitting almost 200,000 cards graded per week. That's a good sign. I got PSA 9s on the Jaylen Brown and the Trae Young, so lost on those as well. These are not high dollar losses though, luckily. So if I look at the whole order, and I had one other card that I sent in for grading. This is kind of interesting. I sent in a Julius Randle Prism rookie, and this is a 2014 Prism base rookie card, and it came back a PSA 7. So I think Starstock felt bad, or I don't know what their policy, what their intended policy was for this, but basically they sent me an email apologizing for the inconvenience that I got a 7, which basically means they didn't do their job well enough pre-grading the card. And I've noticed that in later orders, they were kicking back some cards saying basically, this card is not good enough to send off to grading. What do you want to do? Do you want a refund? Do you want it in your account as a Starstock B, and we'll refund the difference between an A and a B? So they've given me those options in the past. This one got through to grading, came back a PSA 7. So I just went ahead and took the refund price. Now, the way they refund it to you is not the price that you bought it, but the current market price. So that could be bad in today's market. Luckily for me, I paid $35 for the card, and today's market price on Starstock was $37 for the raw card. So I got my money back. It worked out. Looks like the only thing I lose out on is the grading fee. And, I could do worse on that. So I lost the $30 grading on that. I just took the refund. I didn't want the PSA 7 Julius Randle. I have a whole bunch more coming back from Starstock, so we'll see how those do. And so my total cost was $665. My total market value of the cards is $469. So it looks like I lost about $200 on the total order, $196.74. I mean, that's, it sucks because I actually got, as you can see, I got 5 PSA 10s out of 8 cards, which should be a good return. But unfortunately, like as I stated before, I didn't pick the right cards, and the market obviously is considerably different than when I sent these cards in to begin with. So those are just some lessons learned. But my one takeaway is I do have faith in Starstock's pre-grading of the cards. To get 5 out of 8 PSA 10s, I mean, that actually beat their own average, which was about 51%. So I'm pretty excited about that. The other thing is I've tried to pick cards that grade well. Now, it all depends. If I see a good deal on Starstock, I'll take it. But otherwise, I try to focus on cards that I know tend to grade well anyway with PSA, such as 2018 Topps Chrome, and what were some other ones that seem to grade well? Usually you have to look at the card to see what grades well and what doesn't in terms of how many PSA 10s versus how many PSA 9s there are. And once you spot those, some of the select cards do very well. The Zach LaVine rookie year does very well. It gems very well. I don't know this for a fact, but I've heard through some other content creators that the Chris Paul 2005 Topps or Topps Chrome does very well in terms of its gem rate. So you just have to look at the pop report and see how well the card gems, and then you can have an idea of if you can beat that, if you can already have that in your favor, and then on top of it you have Starstock pre-grading the card, you have a pretty good chance of coming back with a decent amount of 10s, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So this was my return, my very first PSA return through Starstock. And again, these were not the best cards, and I lost $200. Oh well, we'll see how I do next month. It's going to be probably this type of a thing as well, because I did buy all those cards in February, which was the peak of the market. So it'll be very interesting to see what the market value of those cards are today. And overall, did I break even? At this point, I feel like if I could break even, I'm actually okay with that, because considering I bought at the peak and the market has come down considerably since then, I probably would take that. Let's just take a look real quick at some cards that I do have on Starstock that I purchased that I intend to grade through Starstock and send into PSA. The first one is a Russell Westbrook, and I've shown this before in previous videos. What I do is I calculate what I believe or I guess how well the card gems. And so when I look at the PSA pop report, this Russell Westbrook Topps Chrome gems at about a 30% rate. Now, I just mentioned that Starstock comes back, that order just came back with about a 51% gem rate. So how that factors into this, we'll see. Maybe this particular card has a better chance to gem than the average Russell Westbrook out there on the market. And I will say that I saw these cards selling at the card show this past weekend I saw one for $500 and one for $700. So the raw cards are going for quite a bit of money. And I was lucky enough to pick this Starstock A up for $250. I felt like it was a win back then, and I still feel very good about it. You could see if it gems, it's worth $2,300. If it comes back a PSA 9, it's worth $360. So either way, I'm going to make money on this card. And so what I've done is I've calculated the potential return on investment on the chance that it comes back at 10 or that it comes back at 9. And what I do is I calculate the Starstock A value of the card, which I project would be about $943. And then my cost basis into it was $280. So my potential ROI is 237%. I just think this was an incredible deal. I'm very lucky that I got the card. And based on these numbers, I like the potential ROI. Again, even if I get a 9, I still win. But if I get a 10, I win big. And I just like that chance. I like those odds. So this was a nice potential ROI. Let's take a look at the Nikola Jokic. Now, this one is on Starstock right now. So I don't know. It may or may not still be available to anyone who's watching this video because I'm pretty close to buying it. It's only $79. You could see a PSA 10 goes for $475, a PSA 9 for $101. So even a PSA 9, you're almost break even. Potential Starstock A value of the card is 236. And again, this is based on the percentage. How well is this card gem? There's 69 PSA 10s, 122 PSA 9s. So I take the percentages and then I come up with my Starstock A value, 236.11. And my cost basis, if I buy this at $79, will be $109. And so my potential ROI here is 117%. That's a decent, I mean, if you can double your money, that's always good, especially in this market because the market has been, it's been down. It seems to show signs of life at this point, but it has been kind of on a floor. It kind of came crashing down from the February high, and it's kind of been leveling out. So if you can find something like on a platform like Starstock and have this potential ROI where you may double your money based on these numbers that I'm showing you, I think that's really good. Let's take a look at Shohei Ohtani. I got this card for $199. This is his refractor, so it's a more rare card than just the Topps Chrome. And there's only 561 PSA 10s. That's not a lot, but it's not a little. But for Shohei, it's a little bit because his card is in very high demand. Only 162 PSA 9s, which means this card gems well. It gems very well, 78%. So again, when you hear that Starstock comes back with a PSA submission of 51%, 51% of the cards came back to PSA 10, probably this type of card has a much higher chance than that, just based on, you know, how all the cards have graded with PSA, not just through Starstock. So again, we take a look at the Starstock A value, $533. My cost into it is $229 if I send it in for grading, and my potential ROI is 133%. Now, one of the things that you may be thinking is the price going to change? Because Starstock has a price of $30 to grade the card, and this is economy, so it's one of the lower levels. My personal opinion, and I would love to hear people's take on this, I don't think that the price is going to increase very much from the $30. Reason I don't think that is because once you start getting into $40, $50 to grade a card, you're eliminating a lot of potential cards to grade. And if PSA is grading 200,000 cards per week, I think they're going to want more inventory, not less. Now, you might think, well, look how backed up they got though at, you know, $9 a card or $12 a card or $15. Well, I don't think the prices are going to go that low either. So I think maybe 30, maybe between 30 and 40. I mean, I think the price might go up a little bit. Starstock may announce that PSA has increased their prices, and so they're raising it from 30 to 40. But I just can't see it going from 30 to 60, you know, doubling, because I think that kind of defeats the purpose of what they're trying to do on the platform, which is have people send in raw cards to grade. It's going to eliminate a lot of cards. I mean, if you take like a card that's worth maybe as a PSA 10, $30, well, you're not going to pay $50 to grade it, and then it comes back a PSA 10, you still lose. Kind of like what I showed you on some of those cards that I graded, which was Ingram, Trae Young, and Jaylen Brown. Okay, last one. This one's a little bit cheaper card. Jordan Love. I've been buying Jordan Love cards because I believe they're at their all-time low. Aaron Rodgers is starting to play really well, and that means people are unloading their Jordan Love cards. So I just bought one for $22 on Starstock. It's a Starstock A. And I actually bought 7, so I averaged out the cost. I bought some high, some low. And you can see here with the pop reports, it's almost 50-50. It's 52-48, so very similar to Starstock's return as far as the card, you know, whether it gems or not. And overall, the potential ROI on the Jordan Love is 85%. So not as exciting, but I think it's a nice, I think I'm buying low. So I do believe that in the future, the card will go up. So I like buying it low, and it already has a built-in ROI at this low price of $26. And I use an example here to show what if I were to buy 10 of these Jordan Loves. I think it's a nice round number where we can see, okay, I paid $265 for 10, $300 to grade. my total cost basis into it will be $565. I'm going to get back 5 PSA 10s, 5 PSA 9s, so they're going to be worth about $1,000 when I get them back. I'll make a $455 profit, which is 81% ROI. So that's another way that I like to look at it. I like to see cards in blocks of 10 so that the ratios are a little bit easier to understand and it's easier to comprehend how much money I'm going to make and how percentage-wise what is the ROI on that. So that's what I wanted to go over. Is I basically wanted to show you my PSA submission return back from Starstock, how I'm still using the platform. I'm still buying Starstock A's and I still intend to grade with them. Love to hear your thoughts on that, on if you feel that buying raw to grade is still a viable strategy. I also had I was on Slab Talk's show talking about this as well, so if you get a chance, check that out. That's the Slab Talk. You could check out Emil Sarfani's channel, and you'll see that I have actually been on that show talking about this very topic. So it'd be great to hear your thoughts. Hope everyone is doing well, enjoying the NFL season, and I will see you on the next one.